news is everywhere. Download our smart TV apps.
There we go. Hi, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Tripped out of the gate there. Again, to start the work week, definitely feeling like a Monday out there. So appreciate your patience with me there. Hopefully things are a little bit smoother now. Another day with dangerous heat as we start off the work week. Yesterday was pretty brutal across especially much of central and eastern Nebraska. We had heat indice values upwards of 110 to 120 degrees across the area, and unfortunately it looks like we're going to do similar things as we head into the day today. So again, we once again have extreme heat warnings for central and eastern Nebraska that run through 8 p.m. this evening. Heat advisories across parts of the Sandhills into southwestern Nebraska that again also run through 8 p.m. this evening, and we'll likely see this again as we head into the day tomorrow. Again, those areas under the extreme heat warning, including again Lincoln, Omaha, Grand Island, Hastings, Columbus, Norfolk. Again, we again today could see heat index values approaching 115 degrees or even hotter at times, as those dew points are going to be well back into the upper 70s, even lower 80s, I think, at times through the day today. This morning, though, hasn't been too bad. We actually had a little bit of an outflow boundary from some thunderstorms across parts of eastern Kansas moved through the area. That brought us some relief this morning, but I think things are going to get pretty sticky and pretty sweaty again as we head into this afternoon. And again, speaking of sweat, why do we sweat? It is an evaporative cooling process. So again, our bodies like to be again around that magic number, 98.6 degrees, and whether it's because we're physically exerting ourselves, running around, or if it's hot outside, when our body temperature begins to rise, that's when we begin to sweat. And again, that sweating process is an evaporative cooling process because the water from the sweat evaporates, and that takes the moisture out of our bodies, takes some of that heat out of our bodies. The problem is days like yesterday, days like today are so humid, the dew points are so high that our sweat doesn't evaporate, and so then that's when we can't regulate our body temperature. So again, days like yesterday, days like today are days we have to be especially careful, looking for signs of heat stroke, heat exhaustion, things like that, especially for our vulnerable population. Again, whether it's the very young, the very old, or again, folks with medical conditions, we got to watch out for those folks. Again, days like yesterday, days like today. So again, check on your neighbors, check on people that might be struggling on days like today. As again, high temperatures today expected to be back into the mid and upper 90s, triple digits across the state, but again, feels like temperatures are going to be even higher. So again, around 3-4 o'clock, we're looking at those heat index values between about 100 and 110 degrees across much of central and eastern sections of the state, maybe even peaking a little bit higher up to around 110, maybe 115 degrees at times late this afternoon into this evening. Again, air temperature begins to drop a little bit, but the feels like temperature is still well up there. Again, by 8 o'clock here in Lincoln, we could still be looking at those heat index values still around 100 degrees, and then we're going to do it all again as we head into the day tomorrow. Again, noontime tomorrow, we're already looking at those heat index values approaching the triple digits, and again, by tomorrow afternoon, heat index values as high as 100 to maybe 105 to 110 degrees for parts of south central and southeastern Nebraska before we'll finally begin to see some relief as we kind of head into Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, when we start to see a chance for showers and thunderstorms across the area. So again, not only today but also tomorrow, but again, make sure you're taking the proper precautions, dressing for the conditions, lightweight, loose fitting, light colored clothing. Make sure you're hydrating. Just slow down if you can. Again, if you need to take a break inside, wait to mow the lawn until late in the day or early in the day. Find some air conditioning, avoid direct sunlight, and again, just taking a cool shower can do wonders to again help regulate that body temperature for you. So if you look at the Lincoln Weather Almanac, these are the numbers from yesterday. 96 for a high temperature, 70 for a low temperature. Again, both of those obviously above average. No moisture yesterday, and again, I think we're going to see similar numbers as we head into the day today. Low temperatures this morning, upper 60s 60s to low to mid 70s across much of eastern Nebraska here in town. We saw those temperatures dip into the lower 70s thanks to that outflow boundary that moved on through. So again, actually it's led to a fairly comfortable, or at least more comfortable, or at least less gross kind of start to our morning. Right now, though, plenty of sunshine. Again, temperature already back up to 80, dew points ticking back up into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees this morning. Again, those numbers had fallen to the mid 60s with some of that cooler and drier air that had pushed through the area early this morning, but we are going to see those numbers tick back up. So 79 right now at the studio, 80 at the airport. Temperatures on the Tempest stations across town into the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Temperatures across the state, again, into the 70s to, again, right around 80 degrees. Hebron right now, the warm spot, they're already up to 82 degrees. It's 81 in Hastings, 77 in North Platte. You can see some of the lower dew points in the eastern parts of the state. Again, that's from some of those decaying thunderstorms that we had moved through parts of eastern Iowa early this morning that pushed that outflow boundary through the area. But again, these numbers, I think by this afternoon, are going to be back up well into the 70s, if not maybe again flirting with 80 degrees like they were at times yesterday. Winds generally out of the east-southeast at around 10 to 15 miles an hour for most of the eastern half of the state, a little bit lighter in the western half of the state. Satellite radar picture pretty quiet. You can see some of those showers and thunderstorms that moved through parts of Iowa early this morning on the radar there. Those are what kind of spit out that outflow boundary that pushed some cooler and drier air into our neck of the woods early this morning. But overall, things are pretty quiet as we start our Monday. We zoom out, look at a regional view. Again, overall, things pretty quiet. We do have some stronger thunderstorms pushing across parts of North Dakota. It's going to be the Dakotas that we're going to be watching today for the threat for some potentially strong to severe thunderstorms. If you zoom out, look at a national view, again, we can see that complex of showers and thunderstorms kind of moving across portions of North Dakota, and then a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity kind of pushing through parts of Illinois, Indiana, and over into Ohio. Otherwise, right now, again, things are pretty quiet, but a lot of areas dealing with the heat. Again, you look at the weather alerts, we have heat advisories stretching from parts of central Florida, again, into our neck of the woods, up into the Great Lakes, up into parts of New England as well. Extreme heat warnings there in kind of the dark pink across much of eastern Nebraska, parts of South Dakota, Iowa, parts of Illinois, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, again, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas. So, again, a lot of areas dealing with some pretty excessive heat as we start off the work week. Again, here at home, those excessive or extreme heat warnings and heat advisories go through 8 p.m. this evening, but we'll likely do another round of those as we head into the day tomorrow. So we check out Skycast again. I think as we head through the day today, we should be looking at sunny to mostly sunny skies. Generally dry conditions is what we're expecting as we start off the work week. Thunderstorms expected to impact parts of the eastern Dakotas into parts of western Minnesota as we head into this evening. Again, they could see some pretty intense thunderstorms in those areas. They actually have a moderate risk for severe weather. Again, it's 4 out of 5 on the severe weather threat scale. We'll look at that in just a second. But as we head into the day on Tuesday, again, going to be another very hot, another very humid day. But the good news is, as we head Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, we're going to look for showers and thunderstorms to develop in the west. That activity is then going to push from west to east across the state as we head late Tuesday into the overnight hours into early Wednesday. And behind that system, that's when we're finally going to see some relief, some cooler temperatures finally begin to head our way. We're looking at actually a pretty good, decent run of some below average temperatures as we get ready to finish off the month of July. So again, that best rain chance is probably late Tuesday into the overnight hours into very early Wednesday, and then through most of the day Wednesday. I think generally dry, outside chance, small chance, maybe a spotty shower, isolated thunderstorm, but most areas should stay dry as we head into the day on Wednesday. So rainfall potential over the next several days. Again, been dry for us the last several days, but especially Tuesday night and into the overnight hours early Wednesday. Right now we're thinking kind of the northern parts of the state have the best chance to see some more meaningful moisture. But most of the state, we could be looking at 1/4 to 3/4, maybe 1 inch to 1.25 inches in some of the higher spots of rainfall as we head over the next several days. Most of that, again, would be coming Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, and into very early on your Wednesday. So that severe weather threat for the day today, again, like I mentioned, it's going to be across parts of the Dakotas that we're watching. We have that moderate moderate risk in portions of South Dakota into western Minnesota. Again, that's 4 out of 5 on the severe weather threat scale. They could be looking at some pretty intense thunderstorms in those areas as we head later this afternoon into this evening. Again, primary threats with those thunderstorms today would likely be wind. Again, you kind of saw there on the model that line of thunderstorms that move through. So again, wind threat would be highest, followed by, again, hail, then followed by tornadoes as those storms sort of initially begin to develop. And then as we head into Tuesday, most of the state covered with a marginal risk for severe weather. So again, some isolated severe storms would be possible. Again, for us here in Lincoln and eastern Nebraska, that threat would likely be very late Tuesday night into the overnight hours, and then into very early Wednesday morning. And then on Wednesday, again, we still have that marginal risk in extreme eastern and southeastern Nebraska. That would cover those thunderstorms moving through as we head into very early portions of Wednesday morning. So if we zoom in, take a closer look at Skycast. Again, I think through the day today, really not a whole lot for us to worry about outside of the heat and the humidity and the dew points and the feels like temperatures. Going to be just another kind of gross day as we head through the day today, but dry conditions for us across the state through the day today. Then overnight tonight, again, mainly clear skies, warm, humid conditions, and then into the day on Tuesday, more hot, more humid weather, maybe not quite as high on those feels like temperatures. And then as we head into Tuesday evening, storms begin to develop in western Nebraska. And then as we head to Tuesday night into the overnight hours, those showers and thunderstorms push from west to east across the state in Lincoln. It would be after midnight Tuesday night. We kind of see that best chance to see some of those storms move through. And then into early Wednesday morning, we could see some lingering activity across extreme eastern, southeastern Nebraska. And then through most of the day on Wednesday, much cooler, much more comfortable, still a bit humid, I think, on Wednesday, but much cooler temperatures. But we're generally dry as we head through most of the day on Wednesday. A little bit more of an easterly and a northeasterly wind will help usher in some of those cooler temperatures through the day on your Wednesday. So in terms of temperatures, highs today, again, back mid-upper 90s, lower triple digits across the state. Again, feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. Again, those heat advisories, extreme heat warnings are in place. Again, we already looked at those. So again, make sure you're taking it easy if you have to spend any time outside at all today. Low temperatures tonight into Tuesday morning, mid-upper 60s to low to mid-70s across the state. Tuesday, you can see some of the cooler temperatures begin to filter in across the northern tier of the state, upper 70s, low 80s in the far north, but still looking at 90s to maybe near 100 degrees for areas along and south of Interstate 80 here in Lincoln. We're still going to go 98 degrees for the day on Tuesday. But then look at the numbers as we head into Wednesday morning. We're looking at upper 50s to upper 60s to start Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon, we're looking at generally low 70s to kind of low 80s for high temperatures. So again, much cooler, much more comfortable conditions for us into the day on Wednesday. That will continue as we round out the month of July and start August. Low temperatures Thursday morning in the lower to middle 60s. High temperatures Thursday afternoon, generally in the mid to upper 70s across the state. Much more comfortable. And then Friday morning, upper 50s to right around 60 degrees for lows. So again, that should be awfully comfortable for us. And then high temperatures again on Friday to start August. Again, generally in the mid to upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. So 7-day forecast in Lincoln looks like this. We have those weather alert days today and tomorrow. Again, for that dangerous heat, those very high heat index values. But then after Tuesday, it gets pretty comfortable. Again, we'll see that chance for showers and thunderstorms late Tuesday into very early Wednesday, but then it's upper 70s to right around 80 degrees through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Some low-end chances for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Low temperatures, again, upper 50s, low 60s for the second half of the week into the weekend. So much comfortable, much nicer conditions heading our way as we, again, finish July and start August. So you look at the 10-day forecast, you can see by far and away today and tomorrow our hottest 2 days of the next 10-day period. Then things get much more comfortable the rest of the week into the weekend. We do warm back up, again, close to where we should be this time of year, kind of once we head into the first few days of August there. But again, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, those are pretty doable. And it does look like much more comfortable dew points as well. Again, it's going to stay sticky today, tomorrow, even into Wednesday, but then past Wednesday, much drier air kind of settles into the region. So again, dew points in the 50s and 60s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even then much more doable, much more comfortable conditions as we head through the first half of the week next week. Rain chances, again, for most areas, they're going to be highest late Tuesday into the overnight hours, then into very early Wednesday. Other than that, again, we're looking at maybe some hit and miss, very isolated activity through the remainder of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Long-range outlooks, a 14-day temperature outlook, again, from the Climate Prediction Center. This is August 4th through August 10th, so again, kind of getting back close to that back-to-school time, but generally favors above-average temperatures across much of the region, and then kind of split when it comes to the precipitation. Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, looking at above average precipitation being favored, below average precipitation favored, kind of across the Four Corners regions down into parts of the southern Rockies. So again, today the big story will be the heat and the humidity. Extreme heat warnings, heat advisories still in place. It's going to be pretty gross again this afternoon, kind of like it was yesterday afternoon. So like I said, if you have to spend any time outside, make sure you're taking it easy. Again, taking breaks inside, and make sure you're drinking plenty of water as well. So again, make sure you keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, and again through the day today, over the coming days, for the latest updates on the heat, and again on those chances for showers and storms as well. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. Hope everyone has a nice Monday. Hope everyone stays cool.